Hi, Jodi Hardesty with Empowered Heart Connections. Many people wonder, how do I know if I'm in the right relationship or not? And a good clue that you might need to evaluate this is if you're wondering, how do I know if I'm in the right relationship or not? So this may be something that can be helpful for you. We're going to talk about 10 tools to help you make some assessments and get a little bit more clarity about if this relationship truly is right for you. So one of the tools that we're going to explore is figuring out whether you feel calm or chaotic with your partner. So does your partner bring you a sense of peace and comfort? Are you feeling relaxed whenever you're in their presence, or is it very stressful? Do you feel like you're walking on eggshells? Does this relationship bring you uncertainty? And can you be yourself in this relationship dynamic without a fear of judgment or fear of criticism? Now again, no relationship is perfect, so there are certainly going to be some of these factors that we're going to talk about that you might have at least one or two that maybe you could use a little work on. But there's a big difference between needing to work on your relationship and really being aware that this relationship is not going anywhere positive. Second tool that we're going to talk about is core values. So do you share the same value system? And this is really important in relationships because you can have differences in preferences, but if you don't have a central sense of values that are the same, it can cause a lot of conflict for relationships. So first of all, this takes some evaluation of what your values are and understanding whether or not you guys can fit those together. So if your values are, hey, I want to work really hard and I want to save a lot of money and then I want to retire early, and your partner's values are, hey, I'd like to spend a lot of money right now and live in the moment and forget retirement, who needs it? Then you might be having some conflict over finances and how you address that. If one of you is wanting to have kids and the other one isn't, that's kind of a deal breaker. That's one of those things that is really hard to negotiate. You can't sort of have a kid. You either do or you don't. So assessing what those values are for you and really evaluating what your partner's values are can make a big difference to figure out how you're going to really be compatible if you do have a real misalignment of your core values. The other question is, how do they handle conflict versus how you handle conflict? If you're both really not so great at having conversations in a calm and relaxed way, this is problematic for both of you, and both of you probably need to do a little work on that. But if your partner maybe is a shutdowner and you're an escalator, that also can cause some conflict. So assessing what type of communication styles they have, how they handle conflict. Are they an ostrich? Do they stick their head in the sand? Are they always conflictual, or is everything a conflict? Or are you both willing to apologize and compromise? Do you actually have resolution whenever you have conflicts? Are you able to listen to each other without dismissing each other's feelings? So evaluating what those areas of conflict are, the way you address those areas can give you some more clarity about your potential success in relationships. And again, if you are having conflict and you've had conflict with every relationship you've ever had and have never really been able to resolve conflict, this is a good clue that one or both of you are probably going to need some work on figuring out how to address conflict before you're able to be in a compatible relationship. One of the important aspects of being in a relationship, number 4 here, is are you able to be your authentic self around the person that you're dating? Are you feeling like you're comfortable to share your opinions, your beliefs, your thoughts, and not feel judged or criticized by your partner? Or do you feel like you have to kind of work yourself around their particular preferences and likes and dislikes in order to not have a negative reaction? Are you feeling like you're expressing yourself creates fear around your partner? And are you able to be vulnerable around your partner? So again, are you having to really change who you are in order to fit into the mold of this relationship? Number 5 is a relationship assessment. for your energy match. So are you feeling like whenever you're together, you're energized, you're able to promote each other, you're helping each other grow and learn, or is it like exhausting and frustrating every time you're together? Do you look forward to being apart? Are you feeling a relief whenever you're separated versus being together? Because relationships should be energizing and fulfilling. They should bring something to your life. And if they are really sucking the life out of you, that's a good clue that there's something that's just not quite right in this dynamic. Number 6 is emotional and physical safety. Obviously, these are very, very important. So emotional safety, are you safe to express your feelings, your needs around your partner without feeling like they're not going to honor them, they're going to dismiss you, or they're going to criticize you, or they're going to hurt you in some way emotionally? That can be really challenging if you feel like your partner is not able to hear and understand your needs. That's obviously going to make you kind of go back to some of those other places where you're changing who you are to try to fit into your partner's uncomfortableness with your emotional expression. Obviously, hugely important is, have they ever been physically violent or hurtful to you? This is a huge red flag and time to definitely get out of this relationship. But obviously that needs to be done with care, and there are lots of resources that you can reach out to. There are domestic violence hotlines, but this is obviously a red flag. When if someone is physically violent, these situations typically escalate and become even more dangerous. So make sure that if this is happening in your relationship, that you get some help ASAP, as soon as possible. Number 7 is the vision for the future. So are we actually having the same vision for the future? Are you in Hawaii and he's in Texas, or vice versa? Where are you guys in 5 years? Are you going the same path? Are you going a different direction? Does it fit the vision of your future together, or do you have to force it to kind of work? Is it like, you're putting in the wrong puzzle piece, or does it feel like it fits pretty nicely together? You guys have a blend of your value systems we talked about earlier, and you're able to really have the same plan, vision, and goals for the future. And your vision of yourself in 5 years is very similar to your partner's vision of themselves in 5 years. So if you don't know what this is a good thing to do some evaluation about for yourself and have a conversation with your partners. How do we see this? Obviously not on the first date, but if you've been dating for a while, it's time to explore the future test. Number 8 is our gut instinct, or our inner peace kind of experiment. So when you sit in silence, is your gut telling you to run? Or when you think about your partner and you feel it in your body, are you feeling warm? Are you feeling connected? Are you feeling loved? Or are you feeling stressed? Are you feeling uncomfortable? Are you feeling like your gut's going, what are you thinking? And are you feeling light and expansive? Or again, is it tight and heavy, which is a potential red flag that this is maybe not a good match for you. So really trust your gut. It's difficult, I know. Many of us kind of poo-poo our gut instincts over time, or we learn to kind of dismiss them or ignore them. But really allowing that inner voice within you to give you some guidance, that if you're feeling uncomfortable the majority of the time around your partner, that's a good clue that it may not be the right match for you. Another tool, number 9, is relationship reciprocity. So that's a mouthful, but it's the give and take in a relationship. Are you giving and giving and giving and giving and giving and giving, or are you both giving and taking? Are you having an equal dynamic where you have an equal share of that energy in the relationship, where sometimes maybe you're caretaking, sometimes maybe they're caretaking, or vice versa, but that one of you is not doing all of the taking or all of the giving. And this isn't going to be 100% 50-50 all the time. Relationships fluctuate, so don't expect perfection, but are there times, or are there differences? Like maybe one partner gives financially and the other partner gives more emotionally in some ways. Are you offering support in one way that's different than your partner is? So again, it doesn't have to be exact. Often couples who are really compatible balance each other in those ways. So if you're particularly anxious, is your partner really good at helping you get grounded? and maybe you're helping them in another way. So evaluating what that give and take is in the relationship, and again, allowing that to give you some perspective about the longevity of the relationship. Because if it's all take or all give, one of you is going to get exhausted pretty quickly. Last but not least is one of my favorite questions I love to ask people is, what would you tell your best friend about this relationship? Or what would your best friend maybe tell you about this relationship? Is if you were in the reverse situation, if your best friend was dating this person, would you say, yeah, go for it, run. This is great. You run together and you have a happy relationship. This is marvelous. Or would they say, yeah, you need to run the other way. You need to run away from this person. What kind of information would they be seeing that maybe you're overlooking? So making sure that you're not avoiding a real perspective because you're kind of in the honeymoon dreamland of the beginnings of a relationship, or we're hopeful, we're just longing and hoping for this relationship to work. We're trying to fit a round peg in a square hole. Maybe it doesn't fit. So it's not a bad thing if, again, I know it's sad and it's hard to end a relationship whenever you've put time and energy into it, but assessing whether or not the relationship is really going to be compatible long term can save you both some time and pain if it's really clear that all signs are pointing to you're in the wrong relationship. And if it is like, hey, I think we're a pretty good match, but there are some areas that we both really need work on no matter who we're with, then that's probably a good clue. It's time to get some help and reach out to a couples counselor or a couples coach, or maybe even some couples classes to help you see if you can grow and learn together and get to that next level that's going to make your relationship even more engaging and help you to grow together. But remember, the one thing that is indicative of a successful relationship is if both people are willing and able to grow and learn together. Because you can't get anywhere if you're dragging somebody behind you to try to grow with you. You got to both be engaged in the outcome of success. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this has been helpful for you all. Please like and subscribe if this has been helpful, and maybe even share it with somebody that may find it helpful as well. Thank you for watching.